Hello guys, this is PushDustIn from Source Gaming, and joining me today is Alax from Alax.
Hey guys, what's going on?
We've done a lot of collaborations in the past, and today we are here to talk about the pros and cons of having a 30 character roster versus a 100 character roster. Now, at the current rate that Smash's roster is growing, we shouldn't hit a 100 character roster until 3 games. But just as a matter of thought, we thought it would be a good idea to talk about the pros and cons of having a smaller roster or a bigger roster.
Yeah, because the two extremes are either talked about one or the other. I know I have my own opinion on it, and a lot of people, or most people that I talk to, because I made a video on it, they'd like to see like a 100 character roster or see it grow to like a bigger roster. So it's an interesting topic to bring up because there's like pretty good pros and cons to each, but to what Sakurai would actually do, we have no idea. So it's fun to talk about for sure.
So you did a video on having a 30 character roster, and I think one of the best points was that it would be a better balanced game.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it would just be a better balanced game in general for not only just like competitive, but it would balance out a lot of the character tropes and like it would distinguish characters, because by Brawl we had a lot of swordsmen, floaty characters with multiple jumps, heavies, and like the unique properties that were maybe in Melee, they started to become less and less. And then by Smash 4, there were still a lot of unique characters. He upped his game for sure when he was designing newcomers, but say you bring it up to like 80 or 100 characters, there's just going to be this huge roster of characters that are starting to mesh together in terms of, oh, who's this character? What series are they from? Because they look similar. Or it's just there's so many characters you won't even get the chance to play them. Of course, that's just like my opinion on it. But that's what I definitely feel the benefit of 30 characters is there's just like a more intimate roster of characters that like matter more to the player. And I guess long term, more characters is more interesting to a person that's going to pick up the game. Sure, that's why a lot of people like the Dragon Ball Z games, but the 30 character most likely for me would just mean a character roster that has a lot of unique fighters that people recognize and be more interested in.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, because when I play, I mostly play random characters, and there's some times where I'm just like, oh, I've already played this kind of character. What can I do to be a really fresh pick? And when you have a lot of characters, it kind of bleed in together.
Yeah, I guess the way they've kind of combated that is, since they like reuse a lot of veterans and their movesets, they're really thinking a lot about the newcomers they add in it, so they can add new ideas. Like Smash 4, like I don't think there was any shortage of new characters that had unique ideas.
Yeah, definitely the Smash 4 characters, they feel really unique in all their own way. Like Shulk with his different stances, and Lil Mac with his KO punch-out meter.
Yeah, they were... I think it's like one of the best Smash games because of all those cool characters and like who they've added and how they managed to bring them to life. It's like really well done, and I like to, like, I think I mentioned that in the video, I'd like to see that done with like all the characters in the Smash game if they're not already represented in that way.
Yeah, because if you have characters from Smash 64 and Melee, their movesets are not as perhaps interesting as some of the newcomers.
Yeah, because Falcon is just an amalgamation of like very typical fighting move kicks. Samus definitely could have better representation. Mario and Luigi could be very diversified in terms of like what they do and what represents their own series and personalities. There's just a lot more I feel like they could do with a lot of the veterans that I feel like they're not doing because of tradition's sake. So I feel the 30 character roster would help make that a little more or make it interesting for the developers and players to play these characters they know. I guess it's just more my own bias because I want to see a what's it called, remaster, or just a refresh of all the rosters characters.
Kind of like a reboot of the franchise.
Yeah, that was the word. Totally blank.
That's okay. I can see that because having the characters that really feel unique and really different from each other would be interesting. But one thing I worry about is that Smash is really a kind of catered toward the casual players, more so than the hardcore players. And the casual players, they'll look at a 30 roster and be like, well, that game doesn't have as many characters as the last one does.
Yeah, they would not, or it would, basically that's how most games are. It's like if there's more content, there's more incentive to buy. So if there's a next Smash game and there's not as much content in it as the last, people are like, okay, so why am I going to buy this? It's like not okay, $90 in Canada, but I guess 60 in America. I don't know how much in like Japan, but why am I going to?
About 60.
Yeah. So why would I go out and buy just this game? For if they didn't have this many characters? I mean, I think that's like a short-term or like short-term mentality, and like long-term, the game could have longevity with like fewer fighters. But I mean, what do I know? It definitely would not like sit well with like most of the Smash audience, and there would be outrage for sure. I think if they decided, oh yeah, we're cutting all of these characters you like.
Yeah, just an example, Street Fighter V, they're, I think, according to sales data that's online, so it's a little shaky at best, 1.4 million was sold, and then Street Fighter 4 was 3.4, and that's only including the PS3 and 360 version.
Yeah, so there you go.
So, like, less characters kind of loses some of its appeal.
And I didn't keep up with Street Fighter. Didn't it like have so many glitches or something, and like... Wasn't it like
the whole launch was pretty bad? Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's just really rushed, I think.
I don't think we have to worry about that for Sakurai. He's very, if he does direct, of course. No matter what he decides to do, I don't think there's going to be anything short of polish once it like releases.
Yeah, it seems like Sakurai has a lot of say in like, no, we need more time. Like, we'll polish this. Because he's delayed Brawl and Smash for Wii and 3DS. He spent like, what, like 5 years in development?
Yeah,
4 years in development.
He's like the senior level of like Nintendo. He's like, I believe he has a lot of respect within the company since like the 90s. So I get that seniority kind of just makes it so he can make the final call even if it's like not a good business decision.
Also, he's a contract employee, freelance employee, so he gets a lot more freedom than I think a typical Nintendo director.
Yeah, that's also very cool. He's worked on a couple of games, but that's a topic for another time. But 30 characters has pros and cons. Like strong, I don't know. I guess if you can see 30 characters and you don't even think there's any pros. I definitely did at one point, but once I looked into it, I guess I saw. But the cons are definitely very strong for sure.
Yeah, I think there are some pros, like you said. More pronounced characters, more imaginative movesets, definitely. And the better balance, I think that would definitely cater to the hardcore community in a big way.
Also, just like it's just like adding more is just you can only get so far. Sakurai has said that before, like even way back in like Brawl days, like you can only add so much before it's like you're just fluffing up the game instead of adding actual like meaningful content. So I guess characters maybe isn't that, I don't know, but I feel like you can only add so many characters until it's like, okay, we want something new.
Yeah, to counter balance that, Sakurai did say after Smash 4 Wii and 3DS DLC finished, he said, I think the title was in Exhaustion and Incitement, and he said that adding new characters was a way to keep Smash fresh, because you could introduce new mechanics through the characters. Oh
yeah, that's very true. I honestly prefer that and how they introduce mechanics, like since they do it on a character basis or with the newcomers of Smash 4, it makes it so each is interesting, as we talked about.
Yeah, but at the same time, coming up with all those unique properties for 100 characters is just impossible.
Yeah.
You're gonna have some clones.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if there were 100 characters, there would almost no doubt be clones of many of the characters they add, just by default, because that's how Sakurai tends to design stuff. Or yeah, he likes to reuse and recycle any way he can, which is very smart, and like for a developer, that's something you would do. But if you had 100 characters, that is so many characters to develop, and there's just not that much time in like a development cycle. That's setting like the project goal way too high, and like not enough manpower in the team, I guess, just to make it happen. Like it's just not realistic for the next one, like you said, the next 3 most likely.
Yeah, I think if you follow the current trend, then the next one will have about 70 to 74 fighters, and then after that would be like 80 and then 100 or something like that.
Yeah, that is going by trend, but I mean, he surprised us with the last one. Like I was not expecting close to 60. Yeah,
definitely. And I think DLC kind of can alleviate some of that burden from development.
Yeah.
Because then they can focus on a couple characters at a time. while also providing that balance updates.
100 characters, it would definitely be hard to produce. I mean, after DLC, it's most likely to be more feasible if they like added a character a month or something. Like even if they held some before, because I know other games do that. They hold the character until like maybe a month after release, and then they start teasing it and whatnot. It would definitely like keep excitement for the game. But if they released one every month or two,
yeah, I mean, like Splatoon and Mario Maker, they had costumes or weapons coming out like every month or so.
Yeah.
ARMS is doing the same thing, so it's not completely unfeasible that Smash would follow a similar trend of kind of a constant update. But the only other pro that I wrote down was that you wouldn't see your favorite character cut in a 100 character roster.
You have everyone and more, basically. Like I've said this before, I can't really think of how many more like noteworthy Nintendo characters, because they pretty much have all of them at this point. They'd definitely be like scrambling for a couple newer characters, and then supporting characters from mini games, and then third-party characters next. But it would definitely make the dream of playing like any character against any of your other dream fighters. Like it would definitely like fulfill that dream that many gamers have. Because no game has ever done that before, and I feel like, I mean, Smash is already halfway there with like a lot of the third-party characters they have. Yeah,
it almost feel like a Mugen kind of fighter. Yeah, and Sakurai said that he doesn't really like cutting characters at all. You know, he always tries really hard to bring back those characters, but having that big of a roster, it'd be overwhelming.
It would definitely be overwhelming. So, I mean, like, I think it would be overwhelming for like the players and them just like trying to make it. Like if I saw a roster like 100 characters, I wouldn't know where to start, because I was like, when I play games, I'm very much like completionist mentality, where like in Melee, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play every character through classic mode, every character in All-Star. Like you could never do that in a 100 roster. It would just be like implausible. And especially even if you play the game like nonstop for 5 years, there's no way you can know every character and matchup. It's like I don't even know the math for how many matchups there'd be with 100 per 100. It's like, would it be? Yeah, it'd be really high.
And if you include up to 8 players in that, like how many matchups that would be?
Someone do the math. That'd be insane. So there's definitely like, just like, it's definitely like a fantasy, and like that would be mind blowing if they did that. Maybe if they go through with adding to Smash 4 a bunch of characters and do something like that. But who knows what they're gonna do.
Yeah, kind of like building upon the base that they already have.
Yeah, that's like the only way I can see them really like buffing up without spending so long on developing the next Smash.
Yeah, and I think like if you rework a lot of the characters and everything, then you'll also lose a lot of the extra content, because you would have to spend so much time working on the characters.
Yeah, it would take longer in that sense too. It's almost like smarter that they reuse a lot of it, because like you see like the project documents, like he spends a lot of time thinking about the characters and making their moves, or in some cases not, but that would mean he'd have to do it for all the characters, at least for like a majority of the roster. He already has like what they're going to do in mind, and then he makes suggestive changes on like what he wants to change. If he had to do that for everyone, then the development period would probably take longer, especially since like you'd have to tell whoever's making the animation how it's supposed to look, but instead they can just look towards Brawl. So
yeah, and I'm sure you know how Sakurai is. He is like very much a control freak when it comes to organizing a project and working on a project. Like he tries to envision the whole thing completely, and then his job as director is to kind of like convey that message to the employees.
He must not lead a healthy life. he sounds like he has like major, like, I don't know, but like it's like I can relate when I'm like doing projects, and it's like, oh man, like imagine doing that for like such a huge like title. That's insane.
Yeah, the pressure and everything.
Yeah, and like from what we've read or like seen from the past, he like puts his like own health at risk just to develop, like doesn't sleep many nights. He's crazy.
Yeah, there's actually a column that we haven't translated yet, which is like a day in the life of the director, which Sakurai talks about his daily schedule on Smash 4 Wii and 3DS, and it's actually a lot better than it was in Brawl and Melee.
Okay, that's good.
Because yeah, he's like, I have flex time at Bandai Namco. Like, spends a little bit of time like, this is flex time. It's amazing. I can come in later in the day.
That's so funny.
He like listens to audiobooks or watches TV like while riding a stationary bike at home.
Oh wow. Like I'm glad he's got in his that's actually great. That's a smart idea. Good for him.
Yeah, so he works on all the stuff, then goes home, works out, and then sleeps for like 5 or 6 hours, and then goes to work again.
Yeah, that's way better than Brawl and Melee. I'm glad he finally like, I don't know, portioned his exercise and development time, because I mean it's all about balance. I guess the few scares he had were just like enough to worry him.
Yeah, I mean like he passed out during Melee.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, something like that. I forgot. Might have been Melee or Brawl, but I think he might have passed out at one point.
Probably, like maybe even undocumented. He just like fell asleep at a desk or like passed out from overexhaustion.
Yeah, and I'm sure you understand that kind of drive when you're working on your own videos.
Yeah, just like if you don't want to finish something, you're gonna be up late.
Yeah, I can get like that with Source Game, where I just spend forever awake and kind of lose track of time.
Yeah, it's just like yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about, because like it's not other jobs. It's like, okay, 9 to 5, I'm done. But like if it's like if it's like something you have to make, it's like, okay, it's not done, so I'm not done.
Yeah, I'm not satisfied with this.
Yeah, I can only imagine for like making a full game. It's like, okay, this isn't gonna be done for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Oh, drive me insane.
Man. So, is there any other pros or cons of the 30 character or 100 character roster that you'd like to bring up?
I am up my cons. I think we pretty much touched on all of them. I have my bias for the 30 character just because I just want to see like a Smash reboot, and like I guess it's unrealistic for them to do it. Like I'm just thinking like that if it wasn't a Nintendo company, what they would do. But I mean, if it's Sakurai, I kind of see them actually adding more characters to the next one, or they're just gonna reuse Smash 4's like engine and all the characters in it, and just be like, oh, it's Super Smash Bros. For Wii U Plus, or Super Smash Bros. For Switch Plus, or something. And they have like 10 more characters, or 12, who knows? And they just add a bunch of stages, modes, and just like it's a very fleshed out version. So all those people that didn't own a Wii U can actually play the game. And I mean, even if you like people who owned it, they'll buy it still.
Oh yeah, definitely. Look at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a system seller.
Yep. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe really didn't add too much. Like it added a battle mode and like 4 characters.
Yeah, it didn't do anything crazy. It just added all the DLC, which I guess looks like more, because I didn't buy the DLC originally, so that's why I got it. But it was a good idea, like from a business side. So if they don't do that for Smash, I guess maybe they're gonna spread out their re-releases. Maybe if that's what they're doing, I'll be very surprised if they don't actually release a Smash like port of any sort,
or at least like an upgraded version of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's just like a 30 character roster is just unlikely with Sakurai at the helm, just because of how he approaches the design of Smash. Like you've touched upon this in your videos with Kirbyism, and I mean the project proposal for Smash 64 was like 4-player battle royale or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like he sees like Smash as kind of like not as a fighting game but as a party game.
Exactly. It's much more focused on the fun interactions you're gonna have rather than the competitive nature. I mean, he's more open about it now, but at the heart of Smash, it's always going to be about like quirky fights. Just like, yeah, because that's just how it started, and I don't think he's going to change his core design, because that's just a part of Smash.
Yeah, I mean, one thing is like Smash 4 U and 3DS didn't get patch notes. We still didn't get patch note for 1.1.7. And it's just like you look at ARMS and you look at Splatoon, and they're being produced by younger developers.
Yeah.
And they have all that attention to the esports part.
I mean, I don't know how much you can change Sakurai. I feel like patch notes, just give us those, like even just the little patch notes. That's all everyone wants. It makes it so much easier.
Yeah, that way we don't have to data mine the thing.
Oh, unbelievable. That's just unbelievable.
Yeah. Hopefully with Nintendo Versus, they'll a little bit pay more attention to that. I don't know how you feel about Nintendo Versus.
I like it. Like, it's a long time coming. Like, I feel like they could have done it earlier, but I mean, I'm not complaining that it's there now, and it's very like the hip, trendy, the voice, I guess the voice of a Twitter profile. But I think I like it. I personally like it. They make some funny tweets. And it's honestly relatable to tournaments. And I'm like, wow, they're watching. That's cool.
Yeah.
Probably is a smasher that is like controlling it. Like, I don't know who owns the account, but I almost guarantee it's a smasher. If it was someone from Nintendo Treehouse and they're actually just picking up all of this stuff that, like, without prior knowledge they wouldn't know, like, that'd be very impressive.
Well, we at least know that Bill follows the tournament scene.
Yeah, that's always cute to see him tweet.
Yeah. Okay, well, where can people find you?
You can find me at RelaxAlax on Twitter and YouTube. Now that I got the little snazzy little check mark, you should be able to find me. I'm purple, so if you see any purple background videos, that's me.
Okay, and I'm PushDustIn. I'm here on Source Gaming. You can follow me just by looking up PushDustIn on Google. And thank you again for joining me, and I hope you guys have a great day.
See you guys later.